The true essence of yoga. The true interpretation of the Sahasrara. The Kundalini represents life energy or awareness. When it passes through each of the 6 wheels, it is in the state of mind. Mind or manas means the state of doubt or wavering. That is, it doubts whether to do something this way or that way. That is called sankalpa and vikalpa. For example, the mind thinks whether one should love God in human form more than one's children or not. This means that the person's life energy or Kundalini is trapped in the Anahata wheel. The Anahata wheel is related to the love for one's children. When one finally decides that one's highest love should be for God in human form alone, it means that the person's life energy or Kundalini has reached the Sahasrara, which is the state of intelligence or buddhi. Even after making that decision, the decision is not firm. That one decision splits up into various doubts or alternative decisions when that God in human form starts testing the person by exhibiting negative qualities called Maya. The various petals of the Sahasrara lotus represent this splitting of one's decision. When the person finally resolves all the doubts through correct analysis, one crosses the multiple petals and reaches the central part of the lotus. It means that the person has reached a single firm decision that the human incarnation of God is the ultimate truth. The whole essence of yoga is this. You pass from a state of the doubting, wavering mind to the state of doubtless intelligence. It means that you leave all the doubts about the human incarnation of God and firmly dedicate all your love to Him, even if He tests you. Finally, you get closely associated with Him. Yoga means this close association. If you never fall from this state, it's called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This is the 8th and final stage of yoga described by Patanjali in his Ashtanga Yoga. The Gopikas, who were the real yogis, had reached that stage, and hence Lord Krishna in human form was called Yogishwara, which means the Lord of the Yogis. The devoted association of the Gopikas with Lord Krishna was yoga, which means union. The Sahasrara is the lotus with many petals. They say 1,000 petals. And it represents the intellect or buddhi. The petals represent the various decisions made by the intellect. This shows that the buddhi, which is nothing but decision, is divided in several ways. At the center of the Sahasrara is Datta. Datta means the contemporary human incarnation of God. The central part of the lotus is connected with all the petals. It means that all the different decisions lead to the single central decision about the real God. It is the single decision correctly recognizing the human incarnation of God. But in order to reach this decision regarding the human incarnation, the intellect gets divided. It makes various decisions at various times which are represented by the various petals. To decide who is the human incarnation of God and stick to that decision is a very complicated matter. And it is called Brahma Jnana or Brahma Vidya, which means the knowledge of God. Therefore, Brahma Jnana or Brahma Vidya is said to be very difficult. If we say that God has no form and He pervades all over the world like cosmic energy, there's not the slightest difficulty in understanding it. If you say that a particular statue is God, again there is not the slightest difficulty in understanding it. But when we say that a particular person is God, there will be various splits in our decisions. This is because that particular person's human body also follows the usual laws of nature. Moreover, that particular person further complicates the topic by exhibiting some misleading negative actions to test our faith. Hanuman worshipped Rama, who was a human incarnation in the time of Hanuman. Radha too worshipped Krishna, who was a human incarnation present in her time. Jesus was also a human incarnation and Muhammad was also a human incarnation. The love that we have for other human beings can become an obstacle in reaching God only when the human incarnation of God competes with them. He puts you in a situation where you have to choose between Him or them. The love that we have for our loved ones cannot be an obstacle in the path of reaching the formless God, or in the case when a statue is considered to be God. This is because these forms of God cannot compete with human beings. Krishna, who was God in human form, competed with the family bonds of the Gopikas. Thus, the true interpretation of the Sahasrara is to recognize the contemporary human incarnation of God and to hold on firmly to that decision. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that propagating divine spiritual knowledge pleases the Lord greatly. Jnana yajnena tenaham. Spiritual knowledge brings about permanent harmony and peace in the world. So join us in sharing this universal divine knowledge of Lord Datta and earn the highest grace of God.